Yeah, so do you think procrastination, is stopping people from achieving their full potential?
People may be waiting for all the ducks to be in a row first
Yeah.
before they can say, let me do this project, let me do whatever they,
And
they
it doesn't
want to
really
do.
work like that, innit? It doesn't
It
really
doesn't
work
really
like
work
that.
like that. I mean,
How many ideas pretty much just go to the graveyard? Do you know what I mean? Like, are not like implemented now for one reason or another.
yeah.
Oh, I was getting that feelings of inadequacy of thinking, I might not be able to do it. Like, am I going to be good enough to do it? Do you know what I mean? But then it's like, I had to overcome that and just put myself out there. And then that was the only way I was going to learn how to teach.
Because time is a perishable resource. You can't renew it, you can't store it. So you need to use it effectively. Otherwise, time could be your ally or your enemy if you use it, depending
100%.
on how you're using it. The difference between high achievers and not so high achievers is because how they're using their time.
Yeah. Yo, welcome back to Powered by Scripture. Come on, back again with another episode. It's your boy David, aka Dabs, aka DB Fitness.
Welcome back. You already know what time it is. You got your boy Ignatius or Iggs, PBS, where we dissect and analyze and chop up different topics through the lens of Scripture.
Come on.
Without further ado, let's get it started. How are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, bro, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. What are you telling me? How are you?
I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Another day, another blessing.
Another
and that. Do you know
day,
what I mean?
another day. So yeah, what we got for the people today?
All right, cool, man. You know what? I can't even lie, man. I just had something that was on my. I feel like God put on my heart.
Yeah.
And I just been like, thinking about it recently. So I just wanted to pose the question to you. We obviously can discuss it. So do you think procrastination, is stopping people from achieving their full potential?
That's a mouthful. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think procrastination has many negative effects. But yeah, I mean, let's delve into that. Let's chop it up. I mean, first of all, we just need to first break it down first, and then we kind of dive into, because that's a very good question.
Yeah, bro. Because I was literally thinking about it, like how many ideas pretty much just go to the graveyard. Do you know what I mean? Are not like implemented now for one reason or another.
Yeah. For different reasons. I mean, many say, I heard this. It's a saying. I don't think it's a quote. Like, perfectionism is stopping people from actually taking action. Do you know what I'm saying? So people may be waiting for all the ducks to be in a row first before they can say, let me do this project, let me do whatever they.
And it doesn't really work like that, innit?
It doesn't really work like that. I mean, sometimes you just need to. It's not really about perfection. It's about progression.
Okay.
So progression is better than perfection. Because whilst you're progressing, you maybe then reach that point where you're perfecting your craft, and when you reach mastery. But no one becomes a master. Everyone starts as a student. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know about the theory of 10? Is it 10,000? Yeah, deliberate practice.
Yeah.
So like the theory of deliberate practice is essentially you spend like 10,000 hours on one thing, you become an expert on it. So I think that links in with what you were saying. Like, it's sometimes when you look at, for example, like the best people in their craft. People might say, they're so amazingly talented.
Let's look at this, like, for example, like sports people.
Bro, look at Ronaldo, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, obviously he's very talented, but it's well documented how many hours he puts into his craft. You know, he's the last one to get there. To leave the training ground, and he's the first one to get there. Like, everyone knows that. It's well documented. So it's like, he's talented, but he also puts so many hours into perfecting his craft. So I think that kind of links it back with what you were kind of saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, before we even dive even more deeper into it, I mean, we just have to start with, like, what is procrastination really? You know, so that we could start there and then...
As a foundation.
As a foundation. What is procrastination?
Yeah, so the way I would describe it in the easiest way is essentially just avoiding a task that you need to that you need to do, avoiding the task that you need to achieve, and you know you need to achieve it.
Yeah. And the thing is that with procrastination, you know that it has negative effects associated with not doing the task. Let's say you might have let's say if you're at uni or if you got a project to do at work, or even your own personal projects, you know that, okay, if I just need to do these steps, and then I will be able to reach a certain goal as such. But then you're avoiding that. But then, why do people procrastinate though?
It's a good question, man. But I think with procrastination, there's like a wide spectrum. Like you were saying, you might have like a work project, or you might have like a uni deadline, or it might just be a task as simple as, you get me, you got to wash up the plates that are in the, do you know what I mean, that are in the sink, bro. I think some of the tasks might just be very mundane and boring. Like no one really gets excited. Yes, I'm about to go wash up the plates now. Do you know what I mean? So then that way people might just say, all right, cool, I'll do it tomorrow. There's the next plate now, I'll do it later on. Do you know what I mean? And then it just builds and builds and builds. As opposed to maybe if it's something that you might enjoy, you're maybe like less likely to sort of want to put off that task. Do you know what I mean? And also another thing that I think is that, like, bro, for example, let's take uni, Remember obviously when we were back at uni? Bro, we had deadlines, bro. If you didn't do your work at that deadline, you didn't get a grade, bro, you could end up failing uni. But I think now that we're out of uni and we've got our personal projects and stuff like that, no one's got a gun to your head saying, you need to do this project. Do you know what I mean? If you don't do this project, then there's going to be consequences per se. Do you get what I mean? Yeah,
negative consequences. I mean, like now the transition is like, obviously when you're in uni, it's a bubble, isn't it? It's like everything is kind of structured for you. You know when your deadlines are. But when you step out of the world of university, I mean, you have to now give your own yourself deadlines.
Create these for yourself.
And it's like procrastination could be like a weight, that's gonna stop you from. I'm not sure if you know this verse that there's a verse in the Bible that talks about what's it called? I think it's in Hebrews. Let go of any weight that hinders you, so you may run the race
with perseverance.
So it's like you're trying to run a race, like you got your goal, so you're trying to run towards that. But if you have weights, like it's gonna take you longer to get there. Like even if you're running against the fastest person in the country, if they're carrying loads of weights and like no matter how fast they are, like they're gonna take much longer. Depending on how much weight they're carrying with them. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say with that is like procrastination is a weight that you need to kind of shake off to in order to achieve your goals. Do you know what I'm saying? So to run that race with perseverance, like you need to let go of the way of procrastination because it hinders your progress. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true, man. So like obviously going back to like in terms of like the reasons for procrastinating, like can you think of any sort of projects in your life, maybe personal or professional, that you feel like you might have like delayed a little bit, and you maybe know the reasons why you might have delayed it?
That's a good question. Why I might have delayed certain projects? Different. I think. Let me just talk about. Let's say, for example, in my health, like gym. There was a point where I just thought, you know what? Once I get this in place, then I'm gonna rejoin gym. Because there was a period where I wasn't going to gym, and I was just kind of procrastinating for a while, innit? I was thinking, tomorrow, or maybe this day, or maybe the start of the month.
Why do you think that was though? Like, why do you think you put it off so much? Because obviously, like we were talking about, we know it's got negative effects, and going to the gym is going to be positive for you. There's only positive events, positive consequences. So why do you feel like it was a case where you procrastinated and you took so long to join up there? That season?
I mean that's a very good question, but I felt like in that period I just wanted to kind of have everything in place.
In place first,
You got your equipment, you got your this, you got your that. So I was waiting for everything to kind of fall into place. And then you just kind of get on to me like, yo, you guys will do it now. Because I was just procrastinating, saying, tomorrow or next month, or they missed it out at the start of the month. But there was a point I was just like, you know what, let me just go today. Like, there's nothing like, you know, like the only present time we have is the now. It's like,
it's today.
It's today, yeah. So, you know, tomorrow really is like you're trying to delay it. Do you know what I'm saying? If you keep on saying tomorrow never comes.
Tomorrow doesn't even really exist when you think about it. It's only today that exists.
Yeah, so it's like, so I mean, just making sure that even when things are not all in place yet, just take the action. Do you know what I'm saying? Take the action that day, because it's the small incremental improvements that you make to see the bigger goal, to see the bigger picture. Like, sign up. That's the first step. Go to the first session. You won't see any difference in that first session. But you know, as you do it more and more, you then, you know,
you start to master your craft. You start to progress that word that you used earlier on. And it's like, just when you're talking, I was thinking about one of the other reasons that people might now procrastinate as well, and I can relate to this, I'm sure other people can, is essentially just looking like being embarrassed or like being afraid to look like a beginner. Do you know what I mean?
Give me an example.
So like, for example, I wouldn't say I necessarily procrastinated. Would I say I procrastinated this? Yeah, but I would say I more so doubted whether I could do it or not. So basically the teaching course that I did, my master's, my PGCE, I sort of doubted and questioned whether I would be able to like teach, be able to like stand up every day, communicate effectively, as well as manage everything else. But I feel like the more that I actually was teaching,
an intense course.
It was mad. Anyone that's done a PGCE knows it's mad, intense. But I feel like the more that I now obviously practice that, the more that I felt confident within that skill of doing it. But in the beginning stages, I was very scared. Like when my mentor used to tell me, okay, right, you're going to teach a certain amount next week, for example. Bro, I was getting that feelings of inadequacy of thinking, I might not be able to do it. Like, am I going to be good enough to do it? Do you know what I mean? But then it's like, I had to overcome that and just put myself out there. And then that was the only way I was going to learn how to teach. Like, but I could read loads of books on teaching, like loads of theory as well, like we did at uni and stuff like that. But then I found on my placement, the best way to learn about it was to teach. So I had to overcome that. But I feel like a lot of people, and that could stop a lot of people from wanting to do a project, or like to go into their craft that they know that God has called them to do, because they're scared to look like, do you know what I mean? Or scared to make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Or scared not to look perfect. But it's like you're not gonna look like perfect. Do you know what I mean? At the beginning, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. But you have to get used to that. Do you know what I mean?
Would you say? This is off the bat. So, would you say we kind of procrastinated to do this podcast? Because we had planned it for a while. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, 100%.
Would you say that was procrastination in a way?
Yeah, to a certain level, because I feel like again we're sort of like waiting for the stars to align, for everything to align, and it's like if you really want to do something, you'll find a way to kind of do it.
To just get started. I mean,
like, that's one thing I'm learning, man. There's literally no perfect time to do anything, really.
When you think about it.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, we could have waited until we have all the cameras, like multiple cameras, and then obviously it will have a better look and all of that. But there's no better way than to get started and then improve and then improve and then improve. Do you know what I'm saying?
All the podcasts are like a lot of like people that I know that are successful. They've started off and you've been able to see their sort of journey. Do you know what I mean? As they've like progressed in their journey, whether that is like a podcast or you know, film, TV, whatever it is. You've seen like how they might have been using the budget camera. Do you know what I mean? On their first look at Chunks, for example, bruv. You know, obviously you know about Chunks and that, but I remember I had a look at one of his old videos, bro. He's just there and that talking to the camera. Now this guy is like, do you know what I mean? He's
did you know
he's very successful. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
the funniest one is what's his name? Don't Jealous Me. You know, his
Yeah,
first video is still there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't Jealous Me, like him just not even no light.
And even the production, it was budget.
Yeah, but however, it's like it gave him a platform, innit?
Yeah,
it gave him a platform. He did what he wanted to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Think about it. If someone procrastinated that, you know,
or
like
if he
avoidance,
did specifically,
if he did specifically, he would have not started. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he would have never got to, you know, the levels I've got to. And we see this in many different, you know, fields. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think another thing, just to go about, just to add to, you know, why people procrastinate is instant gratification.
Okay, go on. Speak.
So it's like people don't wanna have those long-term, because think about it, when you're taking small steps each day, and I was reading this book called Atomic Habits. It talks about if you make 1% improvement every day, you'd be about 36 or 37 times better in a period of a year. Ooh, so it's like you know, it takes that small incremental increase, small incremental changes and improvements every day. Then at the end, you will see, you know, let's take gym for example. You know, you start off using low weights, you know, incrementally increasing, and then you steadily start to build your strength or your muscle after a while. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's one example. You won't see all the benefits in a week or in a month. But then if you constantly like do it every time, then you'll be able to reap those benefits after a long while. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like because it compounds. It's like this compounding effect that, you know, you'll be able to see after a long period. Even if with investing, if someone started investing a certain amount in the stocks market, for example, you know, after a long period of time, because someone might just say, nah, you know what, there's no point. Yeah. But then after a while, you know, if you use those investment calculators, you can see how much someone would have, you know, saved or accumulated in their capital after a long period. You know, it's that same principle of incremental increase, small incremental increases can literally be, like a way to, you know, to overcome procrastination.
Discipline and consistency.
Yeah,
that's big, man. And it's like, I was just thinking as well, like why are some reasons why people won't do that? But then, like you were saying, it's because people want to be like instantly like gratified. They don't want to wait a long time. Like, we live in a microwave generation. Essentially, people want things quickly,
Very
like
quickly,
fast money. You get me? Like, obviously, no offense to, you know, people that might want to do it, but like, for example, you know, certain people might want to now do surgery X, Y, and Z instead of, you know, going to the gym and doing things that way. Do you get what I mean? Basically, essentially getting BBL and them thing there. You get me? Instead of now going and doing it in the gym. Because why? Because it's quicker. Man, them are now going to Turkey and that to go do their hairline and that.
Full
hairline. Where as opposed to they might be able to use certain types of products and that, and then that might now help them. But then that's going to take a longer period of time. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why people essentially might not want to, you know, take that time to be disciplined and to be consistent. I might procrastinate something. Do you know what I mean?
And another thing I would say also is that some people tend to, because like let's be real, like every new year, it's like everyone sets goals, everyone's excited, but it's like people kind of you know, they start off with high energy, you know, start being, you know, whatever goals they've set for themselves. But why is it that, you know, they start to kind of fall off? You know, and one of the things is because they you know, maybe the goals are, they're not SMART goals.
Okay.
You know about SMART goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you not break it down?
Was it so like I remember we was doing this bare at uni, and it was always like smart. What's the S? The S is like specific. Then M, measurable.
Specific, measurable, attainable. for A in it, or achievable, attainable.
Realistic and time bound.
Realistic and time bound. And it's like more than just that, you need to create a system around that, rather than just, you know, a goal that you never actually, are you forming habits that lead to that goal? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That leading to, you know, you achieving that specific goal. Like
give me an example then, like, give me an example. So how can you form, like, instead of thinking about the goal, how can you form more systems around that goal?
Yeah.
As opposed to,
let's say, for
just
example,
being goal oriented.
You want to save a certain amount of money. Let's say you want to save £6,000 in a year. You know, just take out your calculator, 6,000 divided by 12.
Again, that's making the goal realistic.
You're making it realistic, and then you have your specific goal, which is the £6,000, for example.
It's time bound, you know, it's over a year.
Yeah. And then, you know, you divide it by the amount of months that you have in the year. Do you know what I'm saying? And then if you're getting a certain amount every month, you can set up a standing order, you know, to put it into one account every month, you know, and it gives you the time frame, so it's time bound, it's realistic, it's achievable, depending obviously on your outgoings. Yeah, so that's one way you can literally you know, make a goal specific. So, you know, and for you to know if it's realistic, you need to look at your expenses, look at what you have coming in versus what you have going out. Do you have that buffer? Do you know what I'm saying? So that way that's just one example in it. And you can have this in every area of your life. Spiritually, you can say, I want to read, you know, the
all of the New Testament or something like that in like half a year or
exactly. Let's say, for example, recently I gave myself a goal to read the book of John in like a week. When I was like, alright, cool. How many chapters does it have? We've got 21 chapters. Alright, cool. So if I read 3 chapters a day, then I'll be able to then read the whole book of John. Like, you can literally specifically do this. Let's say in you know, you wanna go gym, you wanna you know, lift. You know, do you want to give another example? Like, there's so many ways you can literally set smart goals.
No, but I like what you're saying. Like, even like, for example, it might be like you want to eat, I don't know, more healthily, for example. So like, instead of now, somebody might like to get takeaways like all the time. Yeah. So you might say, all right, cool. Someone wants to, let's quantify it even more. Want to lose, let's say like 10 kg. In fat in a year, essentially. So then obviously the systems around that will be like, all right, cool, let's cut down the takeaways a little bit. Right, I need to go gym like 3 times a week.
You don't want to go cold turkey.
Yeah, only like maybe have a takeaway once a week. And then like now thinking about those systems, you're not necessarily now, you know your overall goal, but you've worked on an actual system and say, okay, right, less takeaways, train hard, sort out my diet. But you thought about more of the systems around it as opposed to the goal. And what I like about that as well, like obviously, you know, like I'm into my fitness. It's like by setting a system, you make something more not only achievable but sustainable. The problem with, like, for example, giving someone like an unrealistic goal is they might now do whatever means it is to be able to achieve that goal. But then you see them 6 months later, for example, it might be an unrealistic fat loss goal. And they've done everything they could possibly do. They've not been eating anything at all. They've just been eating, like, do you know what I mean? Just drinking water, but having nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've been so strict in their diet. So that over that period of 6 months, they've been able to achieve their goal. But then you look at them 6 months later and they've regressed now because their lifestyle, the systems around that they put in place is not sustainable. So it's like, I believe that, you have to have those correct systems in place, like you're saying.
Having those smart goals.
And then you'll be able to achieve that smart goal. But it's like, it's because of the systems that you've put in place. You know what I mean? So
using time effectively and efficiently, you know, is very, very important. You know, because time is a perishable resource. You can't renew it, you can't store it. So you need to use it effectively. Otherwise, time could be your ally or your enemy if you use it, depending 100%. On how you're using it. So, you know, setting those smart goals is important, and, you know, prioritizing tasks. You know, like how would you say you prioritize tasks that you need to kind of get done?
Well, obviously I use my diary quite a lot in it. Do you know what I mean? My diary. I've got my diary right here.
Yeah, these are like practical
my diary
stuff.
right here. So yeah, like I literally just write a lot of things in here, like in terms of like if I've got any sort of meetings coming up, anything to do with work, even like, bro, as an adult, even like social things that I've got planned. I feel like for me that just allows me to keep my time organized. Okay, right, I'm going to be doing this on this day. You know what I mean? This time and this time is going to be dedicated to, do you know what I mean? Whatever activity it is. So I feel like, yeah, it's very important to like manage your time and to organize it. So that's one of the ways that
because really if you're not careful, like time control you, we have control over our time depending on what we do with our time, because like every day, like that's why you like the difference between high achievers and not so high achievers is because how they're using their time.
100%. But that's why I just like as well, and that's why I can't lie, it's one of my pet peeves, bro, when people are like proper late, because it's like obviously I value my time, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it's like obviously if you're late and that, do you know what I mean, that means you don't respect my time, you don't respect your time. So I feel like that's like very important. What's that saying as well? If you're on time, you're late, but if you're early, you're on time.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have paraphrased that a little bit, but yeah, essentially like trying to get to places early because that's the way that you know you're on time. As opposed to if you get somewhere on time, there's a possibility that you could be late. So obviously I'm not perfect, but I would like to think that my time management is decent. So it's like I think that's very important as well, just being able to manage your time effectively.
Yeah, I think that's using their time effectively, and you can literally, that's one way to overcome procrastination. Like I was reading something, I think I was watching a video on something, that if something's gonna take you 2 minutes to do, you might just tell yourself go do it then, instead of writing it like it's gonna take you a lot longer to you know what, I'm gonna do this then. Just get it done. Do you know what I'm saying? These are little habits that you can start developing that can help you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like literally, because in order to be effective, like in order to really make use of the time that you have to to either reach certain goals that you have, you need to be making use of the time that you have, and being diligent, being meticulous in what you do, innit?
So what do you mean then when you say being diligent?
Yeah, being meticulous? Like, diligence is literally being meticulous, being industrious, being like very paying attention to what you're doing, innit? Like the Bible says I think it's in Proverbs 10 verse 4, poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand, but the hand of the diligent makes him rich. Like no one, like even if you want to gain wealth or gain abundance, like you can't just be lazy and not be doing anything. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to be diligent in what you do. Because being diligent is very important. And it's literally the opposite of procrastination.
Do you
know what I'm saying?
But I think it's being effective with your time as well. Like for example, you might now want to do a project, but then spend an hour on the project, but then you're going on your phone every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. But then like now if you say, all right, instead of me spending an hour on this project, let me just spend a bit similar to what you're saying about the 1% every day. Let me spend 20 minutes on this project. But focused 20 minutes, or even a focused 10 minutes for a whole month is better than an hour every day where you're on your phone left, right and centre. So I feel like it is about the quality of the time that you spend on whatever project it is as well. Will also help with procrastination. Now I try to do that as much as I can. Like if I know it's a topic if I know that it's a project or something relating to work or something that's very important, I'll try to be like, okay, right, let me just spend the next 10-15 minutes work and zone into this work, then use my phone for a little bit, then zone in again for the next 10-15 minutes. Because that might be one way that helps me to be able to overcome that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just spend an hour and I'm literally just on my phone doing the task, and then the quality of work is not great after an hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it is about being intentional, using your time wisely, and like that word you said as well, being diligent. Being diligent. Do you know what I mean? To be able to like overcome procrastination.